So, hi everyone, I'm Rakshanda, the LedBy social media manager, and today I welcome all of you and especially Nabeeha to another segment of Jumma ki Baat LedBy ke saath. So Nabeeha, she is an influencer, a modest influencer who encourages women to have choices in their life and to maintain their faith. I would like Nabeeha to introduce herself to our audience as well. So Nabeeha, the floor is all yours.
Hi everyone. I see a lot of common names that I know, so familiar names. So hi to everyone who knows me already, and to those of you who don't know me, my name is Nabeeha, and Rakshanda gave like a very brief intro of what I do, and that's pretty much all there is to know about me. I am a modest fashion influencer, and I'm a dentist by profession. So that's what I do for a living, and what else do you want to know? Like, I'm like on the spot right now.
That's great. I mean, I think for intros, that's more than enough that we could talk about. So let's jump into like what the discussion is about today. So Nabeeha, I just want to know that how did you decide that modest fashion was your calling? I mean, also were your parents supportive of your decision when you started it?
Um, okay, so I've been like a fashion enthusiast. I know for a fact that I've always been crazy about, just planning my outfits and shopping and stuff like that from a very young age. And I think I started my Instagram account, which during my internship year. So I was done with my final year dentistry, and internship was a time where we had like a little bit of extra time on our hands. So that's when I decided I just give it a shot, start my Instagram account. And yeah, that's how it began. There was no intention of actually being where I am over here right now. It just kind of went with the flow. But even when I was in college, I would love styling my hijabs in different ways, just styling my outfits. And I'd be asked, I get like so many questions from my colleagues and from my classmates and stuff asking me how I style my hijabs and stuff. So I just thought that maybe putting myself out there, just what I wear daily and stuff, just taking like baby steps, which is
Yeah.
why I decided to start this. And you asked me if my family was supportive. So Rakshanda, I feel like, like everything else in life, when you do something which is kind of out of the box, something that's not very common, it takes a lot of time for others to take you seriously. It takes a lot of
Absolutely.
time for others to accept what you're doing. And that's exactly what happened in my case. I would definitely say that my immediate family, like my parents, my siblings, they've been supportive from the start. And, but like the extended relatives and stuff, they were probably a little unsure about what's going on. And I did face a little difficulties when people would just not understand what it is that I'm doing and kind of demean it by saying certain things. But for me, honestly, it didn't matter because my parents knew what I was doing, and deep down in my heart, I knew what I was doing, what I meant to do. So as long as your immediate family is supportive, I don't think anybody else's opinion matters. And for me at that point, it was more like they're probably not aware of this industry and what it is that it entails. So for me, even though I didn't like get that kind of support, it didn't really matter because what mattered is my family supporting and for me knowing that what I'm doing is right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like not everybody supported it, but just like my close circle, which was supportive. So I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. To have a family, who understands you and supports you in your tough time is such a blessing, I would say.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
yeah, so I would move to the next question, which is sort of related to this one.
Uh,
So when you
if
talk,
if you don't
yeah,
mind, Rakshanda, I just see like a lot of comments here, so I'm just like
yeah,
just want to say hi to everybody who's saying
yeah,
hi. And once Rakshanda is done asking a few questions, we'll have like a small session where I can talk to you guys as well. So please don't think that we're ignoring you guys and
yeah,
stuff. Just like a few questions that we want to go through, just so that it helps everyone else as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
great.
sorry.
No, it's fine. So my question was that since you talk about being an influencer, what are the skills that are needed to do so? I mean, because I know a lot of young Indian Muslim women who would want to be an influencer, but they just don't know how. Like, what is the baby step they should take? And for you, what I realize is you did it by yourself. Like there was nobody to guide you or support you. Like you have carved your own journey. But like, what are the skills that you need to have to be in this industry? Like, just some insights on that.
Um, like you said, when I started, there weren't like any courses or, some kind of degree that you could take in being an influencer and being a digital content creator. But that being said, right now, I know for a fact that there are many courses that are available as well. But my advice to everybody who wants to get into this field would be that even before investing in courses and stuff, if you can, is definitely a good thing because it gives you like a head start. It lets you know everything that's important, and then you're gonna save yourself the time of going through the errors that everybody else makes. But before you get into this, if there's three things that I would like to mention, the first thing would be just being confident in yourself and accepting yourself for who you are. That's so important. The confidence to put yourself out there, to put yourself in front of the camera and speak. It will take time, but you will get there eventually. If you'd asked me 3 years back if I could, sitting here talking to you guys on a live session, that would like literally give me the chills because that's something that I would never do. I've never been a person who can stand in front of a crowd and speak. So I've come a long way. It takes time. You're not going to learn everything all of a sudden. The first thing for me would be confidence. The second thing, which is so important, is that, as you guys know, there's a lot of people who are actually getting into this field right now. So it's very important to know your niche. It's very important to know what it is that you can offer that is different from everybody else. Because you could very easily, just take inspiration from others and kind of imitate what they do. But you're not going to get somewhere unless you have something original to give to your audience. So for me, it's very important to know your niche, to be original, to be real, because you can't fake it in the long run. So just be yourself. And lastly, I think something that's very important would be to have a thick skin. When you get into this, you have to get into this field knowing fully that you're not always going to meet people who adore you. You're not always going to meet people who support you. And 9 out of 10 times there's going to be people who probably comment on your appearance, comment on what you do, and something that you're really proud of might not receive the same kind of response that you were expecting. So it's important to have a thick skin, because if you don't, these hate comments and stuff can really bring you down and might actually result in you doubting yourself, might result in you kind of, feeling more conscious about yourself. So that's pretty much it. Like these three things, I would say. It's just like, don't care about what anybody else says. Do what you want to do and just keep creating content consistently.
I think these were really useful insights for our audience, as well as young women who want to be in this field. So thank you for sharing them. Another question would be that what are three things that, as a hijabi woman, you're tired of hearing? There must be something that, people always constantly prick about or say about that you're sick and tired of, so if you could tell about those three things.
Something that's right at the top of my head, it's something very funny, is they'll ask you, aren't you feeling hot in it? Don't you feel hot inside it? And that's something that's so common. And I think every hijabi girl here will relate to that. And I think when I was in my university, I started telling people that no, I have like an AC installed inside this hijab, and I don't feel hot anymore and stuff. So number one would be that. Number two, again, it's a very common thing, but something that needs to be mentioned, is when people assume automatically that this is something that you're doing because you're obligated to do it. So somewhere around the lines of us being oppressed, us being us doing this because it's an obligation. So somebody asking you, why do you do this? Why are you wearing this? You don't have to wear it. You look so much prettier without it. So that's another thing. And the third one, I think, would be, I don't know about everybody else, but this is something that I've heard like so many times. So this is very common for me. It's probably saying that, you don't even wear it properly. I can see your hair. So just stop wearing it. If you can't wear it properly, don't wear it at all. So I think that would be the third thing.
Yeah, so adding to the third thing, so you said that, people are always delighted to comment about how you look and, a certain way you should be dressed up or a certain way you should do your hijab. So have you, like, since you mentioned you have come across such instances, but how do you deal with them? Like, because they are negative comments, like, so how do you deal with them?
Initially, yes, it did bother me to quite an extent where I would try to engage in a conversation with that individual, trying to explain to them my point of view. But now I've just come to that point where I've realized that, you can never please everyone. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, to be honest, but people who are kind, people who are genuinely coming to you from a good perspective, will never put you down. Absolutely. On a public platform. People who are genuinely people who genuinely care about how you put yourself across will probably approach you in a much different way. So that's how I've realized that people who put you down, people who put hate comments and stuff, it's just that I've made peace with the fact that they're probably in a very negative space in their life too. So, I kind of feel bad for them now, the fact that they think that it's okay to put somebody else down. But if that makes them feel better, then, at least it's making them feel better. So I'm okay with that. But like I said, I can't please everyone. At the end of the day, I need to do what I am comfortable with, what sits right with me. And this is something that I always tell my audience, that my Instagram is not a religious platform. It's not a platform for me to preach about our religion, about our faith. It's just a platform where I can share what I do on a daily basis. And if you can take some inspiration from that, then well and good. But if you can't, then I guess there is an unfollow button, there is a block button, so you can just like delete me from your space. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're a very strong woman, and for what, like,
it took me a lot of time, I would say. Yeah. I just want to put that out there, that it takes a lot of time. You don't reach this place where from the initial stages. It takes a lot of time to be there.
Yeah, and since you mentioned you need to develop a thick skin to, even go through these comments and then to respond to these comments. So really appreciate the fact that you even try to engage and, try to put your point in front. And I think like a lot of women would be, they would just try to ignore it. So the fact that these people do exist, eventually you would just ignore such people who try to bring you down. So I think I'm really proud of you. I must say that. And I really look forward to, such conversations where you talk about, things that bother you as an individual. Because, as an influencer, what I feel is that you are expected to be perfect in every sense. True. But people do forget that you're human beings too. Like, you do have feelings, and whatever they say might have some impact on you. So adding to that, the next question is that how does a woman make choice, and embrace her individuality, spirit, as well as beauty without compromising her faith? I think this is like something that a lot of Muslim women struggle with, because we are being brought up in such a society that where your religion plays an important role. So how do you balance both the things? That would be
honestly speaking, I feel that who you are as a person and your faith, these are two things that go hand in hand. As Muslims, like you said, and this is something that I'm actually proud of, is that when we're brought up, even when we're brought up as kids, from a very young age, it's inculcated in us, our religion, the beauty of our religion. And so for me, I think it's more about accepting. Acceptance is very important. Even, for example, wearing a hijab. And this is something that I always say, that when you decide to wear a hijab, when you decide to do certain things, it's always important that the decision comes from you. And it's not something that is forced upon you. Because when you make that decision for yourself, you're well aware of what you're doing and what you should expect in the future. So keeping it very simple, I would say, let's just take the hijab, for example. Because I would say that modesty and faith and my hijab and everything is just kind of, it goes hand in hand, like I said. So for me, the first step was to accept that, okay, this is my religion. This is the reason why I've been asked to wear the hijab, and is it something that I would want to do? Is it something that I would want to respect? If the answer was yes, that's when I decided I want to wear the hijab. Now, when you wear the hijab, as Muslims, there is a certain responsibility that we have. When I'm wearing a hijab, I know for a fact that I have to not only dress modestly, but I have to also act, behave modestly. Everything that I do is a direct reflection of my religion. And I'm honestly of that opinion that in the world that we're in, with the Islamophobia that's more prevalent these days, it's kind of scary. But if every Muslim individual I know it's not fair on us to have to prove our religion and to prove who we really are to others, but if everyone just kind of accepts the religion and the beauty of it and then just behaves how we've been guided in our holy book, I would say everyone will see it for themselves. You know, you don't have to make choices. You don't have to make it difficult for yourself. Just keep it very simple. You're wearing a hijab. That's fine. That's your decision. That's my identity. But just because I'm wearing a hijab doesn't stop me from doing anything that I want to do. I'm into fashion. I like fashion, but I didn't let my hijab stop it. In fact, my hijab was like the core around which my interpretation of style is centered. So when I'm looking for outfits, I know for a fact what I can and cannot wear. Like I said, acceptance, knowing what you can and can't do, and then just like taking it from there. The more complicated you make it for yourself, the more difficult our religion is going to be for you. So it's important to know, understand your religion, understand your faith, and then follow it. Otherwise, it's like you're blindly following it, and that's when this complication happens, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the fact that you mentioned that you have to decide for yourself, like nobody can force these things upon you. That's so important. And that is something that we should take seriously. Like as an individual, why are you doing this? So absolutely, you know, trying to find the answer to these questions is very integral to our faith. Adding to that, Nabeeha, I just wanted to know that as a Muslim woman, do you ever feel that you are being stereotyped, like because of your religion or because of the way you look? Like people do comment about it. Like, do you feel that?
Thankfully, I haven't faced any kind of discrimination outwardly. Maybe behind my back, yes, but nothing that's like, you know, been so upright and just like in your face kind of thing. But you know, I genuinely feel like yes, especially back in India, I have seen instances where Muslim women are judged by their appearance because it's not in our control, right? The way we dress, the way we put ourselves across, we're kind of like an immediate, you know, identification of a Muslim, like the way we dress and stuff. People will immediately know that you're a Muslim, which is not the case with other women. So yes, there are certain stereotypes that are associated with it, but we have two choices. One is to just like kind of accept it and then sulk about it, and the other is to break them, which is what I believe in. I feel like stereotypes will make sense only as long as you let them. For me, there is no difference in, I'm just a woman doing things that everybody else is doing. The only difference is that I have a head covering on my head. That's pretty much what it is. And if everyone starts looking at it that way, you would know how kind of lame the stereotypes are in general in any way. I mean, what is the big deal if a girl in a hijab probably plays sports? It's not a big deal. It's just a hijab on my head. It's not covering my brain. It's not like, you know, affecting my ability to do anything. In fact, if anything, it just makes me stronger, because this is something that I choose to do. This is an identity that I have built for myself. So, you know, just accept that. And like I said, opinions will always be pushed around you. You cannot control what other people think of you. What you can control is what you think of yourself and how you put yourself across. So always just focus on that and just pay no heed to anything else.
I mean, these are such beautiful points that you have just mentioned, and so inspiring as well, because, you know, we definitely need someone talking about these things. saying it loud. We do know these things, but like saying it aloud just like, boosts your confidence that, at least we have somebody talking about these things and these stereotypes that we face as Muslim women. Another question would be that, as you know, that, at LedBy, we have launched this new program called LedBy Accelerator that is mainly focusing on Indian Muslim women to make them job ready. So just related to that, what do you think, how important it is for a Muslim woman to be financially independent and to have their own voice?
Before I answer that question, I just want to let everyone here who's present here watching us as well, I just want to quickly just let you guys know that I'm so proud of your foundation, the work that you're doing. And it takes a lot actually, to just, there's a lot of people who be like, we need more representation out there. We need to support Muslim women. Muslim women need to be given opportunities. But you guys, what you're doing is you're actually doing something about it. And that I think is very important. It's a start to be able to empower women to get to their goals, because not everyone is as blessed. And if you guys are like this medium to help somebody reach their goal, to help somebody become independent, I think that's really commendable. And I would say I'm just so proud of what you're doing as well. And now that we've established that, like you said, you asked me how important it is, according to me, for a girl to be independent. I think it is extremely, extremely important. Gone are the times where women are expected to stay at home, take care of the house, and just only concentrate on those chores. I think we live in a society now which is so competitive that to be able to sustain in the kind of environment that we are, it's extremely important for both the husband and the wife to contribute equally. Absolutely. It's more like a partnership. That's how everybody, at least our generation, I would like to believe, is it is the right way to look at it. And something very simple, something that my parents actually told me when I was just in college, and when I was there were times when I wasn't very interested in studying and doing something. So for me, this thing kind of stuck with me, and I would like to share that with all of you here as well. Even if you don't feel like studying, even if you feel like, I'll just get married one day and it doesn't matter and stuff, I would just genuinely advise all of you to just take that thought and put it away, like lock it away. You guys need to understand that as women, we always have to work 10 times harder to achieve whatever we want. So this time you're not going to get it again. And I would say invest that in yourself, become independent. It is so important, because if you're not independent, if people are going to, that's the world that we live in. It's very cruel, and people will take you for granted. And you don't want that. When you're independent, when you've worked hard for something that you want to achieve, you know exactly what you deserve. And when you're educated, you make the right choices. So you don't have to live in that society anymore where girls have to adjust and have to compromise and have to go through all of that. No, our dreams are equally important, and to make sure that your dreams are heard and your voice is heard, you have to be independent. So always, always remember this, that when you're independent, you won't have to depend on anybody else. And that's where you get that respect from another individual, even if it's your spouse in the future. If you're not educated, if you are dependent on the spouse, they will take you for granted at some point. Absolutely. So just build your own life. Don't always center it around the man in your life. And yeah, I think that's pretty much how important it is to be independent, and always just focus on yourself.
I mean, it's really like whatever you just mentioned, even the concept of partnership. It is so fresh that, you see two individuals as partners, not just like two people, being dependent on each other. Like you support each other in, building up dreams, building up your lives. So I think that's a very positive way of looking at.
It's actually a more practical way too, right? I mean, if there's two people living together, if both of them contribute, you're probably going to achieve your goals and your dreams sooner. You're going to have a better life sooner. So why not? It's a very short life that we have. So, just work together, work it out together, and just enjoy it. That's all I can say.
I mean, thank you for sharing all of that, Nabeeha. It really gives us a lot of inspiration as well as motivation to do something better with our lives. So one last question would be, what is one message that you would give to our Indian Muslim women community, like all of them, including the younger ones, the ones who are a bit older, like, this Gen Z and this whole concept of Gen Z and millennials. So
Yes.
what are your messages for them?
There's a bunch of things that I would want to say, but to keep it short, I would want to speak in continuation to the previous question that we said. I just want to say that as girls, we're always focused. Like, obviously, there are some girls who are more determined, and they have that kind of luxury as well to be able to focus on their dreams and their goals and their career.
Absolutely.
But not everyone does, like, realistically speaking. A lot of girls still just get to study till they're graduating, and then all they have to worry about is getting married. Like, we've all been in that situation where at times you feel like what you do is not as important as what a man would be doing. Your career is not taken as seriously as maybe a man's. And I think the only advice that I want to give to all the women over here, to all the young girls who'll be watching this, is to, like I said earlier also, keep all your distractions away. Be focused on what you want and the kind of life that you want. Don't just dream about it, because honestly, there's no fairy tales in life. So unless you work for it, you're not going to get what you want. And stop thinking about marriage. Stop thinking about what you're going to do, the kind of guy you're going to get married to. You want to get married to a rich guy and stuff. Be the rich guy yourself. Like, don't depend on somebody else to get that bag, to get whatever you want in life. Make yourself so capable, make yourself so successful that you can get everything that you want without having to depend on somebody else. And trust me, when you start earning, when you start realizing the kind of independence that comes along with, doing what you feel like, it's so addictive. It's so addictive, and it kind of liberates you in a way. So whenever you're in a situation where you get distracted by all these other things, I would say, whether it's romance or relationships and stuff like that, I just want to request everyone to just put all of that away. There's going to be a time for that, trust me. When you get married, like I said earlier, these are responsibilities that we cannot deny. We all, as women, we have to work harder. We have to take up that responsibility, irrespective of what kind of household you come from. Everyone has to take that responsibility. So there will be a time for that, but at least don't waste the time that you have before it, because you would want to make sure that you're using each and every minute of your life working towards becoming that person that you've always dreamt of. So concentrate on your education. Do not take your education lightly. Even if it's graduating, even if it's doing something basic, just make sure that you finish it. Make sure that if you're in a situation where, if God forbid, you're in a situation where you can't be in a relationship anymore, or if you're not in a good space anymore, you should be educated and independent enough to take that decision that, okay, I am capable. I don't need to depend on anybody else. I can move out right now and I can kind of support myself. I don't need anybody. Yeah. That's the kind of dream that all of us should have, because nobody's going to fight for you. A lot of people will say, yeah, you know what, do it, we're all behind you and stuff like that. But till the time you make that decision that, okay, I'm going to make sure that my life doesn't turn out the way I've seen everybody else's life turn out, it's not going to change. So work extra hard. Maybe you'll be like the less cooler person. Maybe you'll miss out on some of the worldly things that a lot of other girls are doing or a lot of other people are doing. But trust me, when you're earning, when you're independent, when you're successful, all of this will be something that the other people who didn't take it so seriously will be something that they will regret later when they see you in that position. So basically that, just please focus on yourself. Learn to love yourself before you decide that you want to dedicate your life to another individual. focus on your growth, because like I said, our dreams and our career is equally important. So please work towards, somebody said financial independence, and that is something that I completely agree with. Learn to be independent. That's the biggest goal that any woman should have. Yeah, I think that's it. I got carried away, sorry.
No, absolutely. We loved hearing you. And like, even the fact that we are focusing on being financially independent. So with this program, our main idea was to, help Indian Muslim women to be financially independent, to come out of these situations, because we do hear a lot of stories of women having tough spots or being in tough spots because of, not being educated enough, not being financially independent. And so like highlighting this problem and trying to solve it is our goal with the organization.
Definitely.
Yeah, and with that, I would request our audience if they have any questions for Nabeeha, because I have enjoyed the session with her through and through. I literally loved hearing
Thank you.
whatever you just mentioned. It's so inspiring. I'm really in awe of you. So if you guys have more questions, just write it down. We are here just for like another 10 minutes, and we would be more than happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Rakshanda. I mean, I love talking to you as well. And yeah, like I said, let's just take a few questions here.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have any questions, if you need any advice, please leave them here. We've missed a bunch of things at the top, so.
Yeah. Also, you guys can always DM us, send us your questions, and we try our best to answer them. Also, Nabeeha, thanks a lot for doing this with us. I mean, to have a hijabi role model is such an incredible thing. I must say that, because I remember back in my college days when I was a hijabi, I did it because of choice. But the fact that I got a lot of hate, I received immense hate. Even in hostel, my professors were like, why don't you just remove it? And the fact it became so toxic that I had to I think maybe I was too naive. I would say I had to let it go.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean,
yeah.
And then it's actually the truth, not everybody has that kind of support.
Yeah.
And not everybody has come from that place. So I can totally imagine how you must be feeling. And honestly, even when I was in school and stuff, there were times where I felt like, I'll just take it off and it'll be fine. But it takes you time. So for me, the fact that I'm kind of tweaking it in my own way, the way I dress up and everything around it is for me to feel more confident in it, for me to be able to express my true personality. If I know that it might not be something that's accepted by everybody, the way I dress, the way I wear my hijab, it's something that's not going to be accepted by everyone. But for me, what's important is knowing that I'm in the right direction, at least. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and hopefully one day I will reach a point where I will learn and I will be in that position where I'm confident enough to wear it the right way. But I don't think the way I wear it right now I don't think deep down in my head that this is the wrong way either, because something is better than nothing. And I think that's what happens, because it's, for a lot of people, it's either 0 or it's 100, there's no in between. And that's why it becomes difficult. So if you ever in your life decide to wear the hijab again, just know that what matters is your intention. And, you can start, even if there was a time where I would wear a hijab and I would wear short sleeve t-shirts and tight jeans and stuff. And then I moved to quarter sleeves. Then I moved to full sleeves, and I started wearing longer clothes. So it's a very big journey. And to get there, nobody will help you. Everyone will put you down, but you just have to be headstrong, I think, Rakshanda. And, I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that again, in your life. But, just know that don't pay heed to any of that. And it's okay, even if you decide one day to wear it and the next day you're not comfortable, you take it off. People who say, don't wear it just for the sake of it, and one day you're wearing it next. No, it's a process. It's a journey. So wear it when you're comfortable, wear it when you feel confident, and don't let anybody else say anything. And we've got a few questions, so I'll just, how to deal with people who always let you down, maybe at college or at work. It's something that we were discussing right now, Huda. And like I mentioned to Rakshanda, people are always going to speak irrespective of who you are. And the only thing that helped me throughout this was the fact that I knew why I was wearing my hijab. I knew why, and it's not just related to hijabis, I would say, but it's even non-hijabis. As women, there are many choices that we have to make, and you know, there's so many insecurities. There's so much self-doubt that we're always surrounded by, and it still goes in my head. There's so many things that you'll feel when you see on Instagram, and you're always comparing and stuff. So it's a constant loop that is going to happen. So that's why I said that the biggest thing that you can work on is yourself. Learn to accept yourself. If you know what your insecurities are, if you know what your flaws are, and you're okay with it, no matter what somebody else tells you, it's not going to bother you, because you're like, okay, yeah, I know that I don't have that. I'm not maybe the skinniest person. I'm not maybe like the fairest person, or I'm not like but like all these stupid things like your complexion, your size, and all of this, it only matters till you let it matter.
Mm-hmm.
So just accept, be proud of who you are, and work towards your goals silently. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. When you reach that position after working hard, when you've actually proven yourself to everyone, that's when people will realize, okay, how lame, and everyone will forget about everything that they ever said about you. Then they're all going to want to know you. They're all going to want to be associated with you. That's the kind of world we are in. And yeah, I hope that answers your question, Huda, is to basically not care a damn about what others say. Just do you.
Absolutely.
It's impossible for the married women to be financially independent whose in-laws are conservative. Kausar, I completely understand where you're coming from. Like I said in the beginning, also not everyone is so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's easier said than done that, yeah, be financially independent and focus on your goals and stuff. But there are some girls who have a huge kind of negative impact on their life as well. And that's the thing, you can't change what people think. You definitely can't change their mindset. But my advice to you would be to take small baby steps. So for example, if you know for a fact that you're in a family where they won't accept you working out, you going out doing a 9 to 5 job and stuff, it's all right. It's okay. You know that this is what you can't do. So now you have to think what you can do. And maybe one thing that might be possible, number one is always communicate. Communication is key. You need to respect everybody else's thoughts. And number one, speak to your husband. Make him understand that there's more to you than just, be staying at home and doing that. But there's so many opportunities, even by staying at home. If you know that they're not going to allow you to go out, at least you can do something from home. I've seen so many ladies, I've collaborated with so many of them who start their own businesses, just staying from home. And you can start with that. And initially nothing will work. But then when it starts working, when your business starts booming, your whole family will help you too. I'm pretty sure about that. So do what's possible. Start working from home. Do a job which is probably not going to require you interacting with other men, which is not going to require you going out that much. So start your own business if that's all you need. And it doesn't take a lot to start a business. We have Instagram, which is like the biggest tool. All you need to do is find a wholesale shop where you can get like any product, whether it's jewelry, whether it's hijabs, whether it's clothes, whatever it is. Get connections, take pictures, put it on Instagram, and just start. And that's all you need. Just start somewhere.
Okay, now the questions are like going on and on.
Okay, I'm just a little slow. Zedi Sanya is saying you both are on bang. So my question to Nabeeha is how to deal with concentration issues with the things which you wanted to do in your life. I think probably what you mean is just like staying focused. I think is that what the question means?
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Right. So Um, I would say, for me, for example, I'll be very honest. There was a time in my life where I was so confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was done with my dentistry. I had my social media, and I wasn't sure because I couldn't do both. At one point, it was very difficult for me to choose between the two. So I would say do everything that you feel like. Take 1 year of your life and decide that you're going to do. It'll be very difficult. It'll be very difficult. It'll be crazy and you'll be tired all the time. But say you're interested in 5 things. I would say do all 5 things, but dedicate that 1 year of your life to that. And then towards the end of the year, what will happen is you'll realize that you're automatically giving priority to a few things that you first started out with 5 things. Probably you're giving more priority to a couple of things. So that's where your answer lies. You know that, okay, I'm more interested in this. This is what gives me more happiness. So then you at least know that, okay, this is what you're passionate about. Once you found your passion, then you can research about the kind of things that you want to go ahead with, the kind of job opportunities that are there around what you like. And I think we're so blessed to have Google and just research, because there's so many job opportunities out there. And all you need to do is just educate yourself. So I would say do everything, focus, and just be disciplined to know that you need to get somewhere in life, and give yourself a timeline. That's very important.
Yeah, I think like those were valuable insights, and like absolutely being focused is very important to achieve your dreams or your goals in life. So I absolutely agree with you, Nabeeha. This has been such a great session. We had lovely ladies asking us such important questions. And the fact that, even Muslim women do have questions and they bring it up on social media and ask about things. So these have been really good insights. And I just want to thank you for each and every minute that you have spent with us, given us, and shared your beautiful insights, as well as your experience of being a Muslim woman in this in the society and how things work for us. So I would really thank you once again for being with us. Is there anything else you would want to say?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me here, giving me the opportunity to be able to communicate with you, your team, and everyone else who's here on this live session too. I really hope that you guys got something out of it, and I feel very overwhelmed whenever you say that you're like a role model and stuff like that. I still consider myself like this person who's just living her life, and for me it's more like talking to my friends and just like sharing my views and opinions. So I genuinely want to thank you guys for actually and I think a lot of this confidence and a lot of things that I've learned is because of my social media as well, because I've interacted with so many girls. I just feel like my perspective has widened so much after I've realized what everybody goes through. So just want to thank you once again for having me here. It was an absolute pleasure. And to everyone who's just watching this over here as well, the last thing that I want to say is, everybody's life is different. Everybody's experiences are different. So don't let me or anybody else tell you that, you won't be worthy if you're not financially independent. You won't be worthy if you don't do this. No, because nobody knows your struggles in life.
Yeah.
So all I can say is that whatever you have, whatever challenges you have in your life are your own. And all you can do is take inspiration from others, and maybe just like I gave you that example, just understand the situation you're in, and you might have to work very hard, but just push yourself to an extent where you feel like, okay, I'm not going to let my hardships define me. I'm going to fight and I'm going to come out stronger, and just start from whichever level you are in life. Just do whatever you can in your best ability, whatever you can to the best of your ability, and that's all that matters. As long as you love yourself, as long as you're confident, and as long as you're proud of who you are. So just that thing that I want to end on. And Rakshanda, you're amazing, and thank you so much for having me once again, and hopefully we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. I cannot just stop smiling. Like my smile is there because I'm so happy. Just the fact to talk to you,
Thank you so much. I'm so touched.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
And you
welcome,
guys
Abhi.
keep
And
doing whatever you're doing. It's
yeah,
amazing work that you're doing, and I'm so proud of that.
thank you. And hopefully we would have you on board again. We would
Hopefully.
collaborate and
Yes,
we would
for
love
sure.
to talk about other things as well. So if
For sure, for sure.
yeah, and
Thank
I
you so
hope
much.
yeah, and I hope people loved our session as well. So like if you guys loved Nabeeha, please give us a heart so that of course we loved her. So that's
No,
just
there's
one
so
way to
many
put it.
sweet comments over here.
Yeah.
I'm so overwhelmed. Like, there's so many girls that I already know, and I'm so proud of the audience and the support, the community that I've been able to build through my Instagram. They're so supportive whenever I'm live and whenever I'm on a new platform as well. They make sure to come and share the love with me. So I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. And thank you so much, you guys, for just appreciating the session as well. I really hope that somebody can take something out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Love
Bye
you
bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.